Hi everybody, Christopher Benevento here from the Benevento Law Firm in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. If you've seen prior videos of mine, then you probably know that most of my caseload is criminal defense. That's what I'm known for. Today, we're going to talk about a very specific type of case, and we're going to speak to a very specific audience. The type of case that we're going to talk about is cases dealing with substance abuse issues, all right, or alcoholism. I include alcoholism in substance abuse issues as well. All right, and the audience that we're speaking to is the parents of the young adults who are dealing with these issues and end up getting arrested. All right. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because in my personal life, I've dealt with substance abuse issues and the ramifications of it as a child, growing up with family members who were dealing with these issues. As an adult, when I joined the Marines, we had to deal with alcoholism. And that was a very big issue in the Marine Corps when I was in. I assume it still is. And then I became a bartender. And in that industry, in bartending, through undergrad and through law school, we obviously have a ton of substance abuse issues in that industry, and we have to be specifically aware of somebody who is an alcoholic and how much we serve them, if we serve them at all. So this video here is to discuss the unfortunate, or fortunate depending on how you look at it, event that your child is arrested for this type of crime, and what you're going to have to contend with as a parent with the criminal justice system should you decide to become involved, either directly or indirectly by just supporting your child. All right. Now, for a lot of parents, a child being arrested in this situation is a blessing. All right. For a number of reasons. Number one, it forces your child to acknowledge their problem. Number two, it may actually expose you to resources that you didn't even know existed. Right? Number three, there may actually be compelled oversight of your child and having to deal with these issues, which sometimes can help parents feel like they're not dealing with this issue alone. All right. Now, obviously, there are downsides to being arrested. Number one, the biggest one, incarceration. The possibility of your child being incarcerated in a jail or a state prison exists. Now, most scholars agree that incarceration is not the best way to deal with somebody who has a substance abuse issue, and courts are starting to follow suit on that theory. All right. The next downside is that there's the possibility of exorbitant fines. Most young adults who are dealing with substance abuse issues are not in the best financial state. All right. And if they don't pay those fines, it can lead to further and bigger legal troubles down the road. All right. Last but not least are the collateral consequences of a criminal conviction. A criminal conviction on their record is absolutely going to affect enrollment in a college or university and potential career prospects in the future. So we have to be aware of that. Now, how we handle these issues in my office. Number one, we have the client speak to a counselor or substance abuse evaluator, and we get a recommendation for treatment. And the reason that's important is twofold. Number one, obviously it helps us focus on how to best deal with their issue. Number two, it helps us in developing a mitigation strategy for their legal case. That conversation that the client has with this substance abuse evaluator or counselor is confidential. I tell them, look, I'm not going to hear about what you say to them because it's that important for them to be completely honest and open with that evaluator. All right. The next thing that we do here is that we assess the charges that the state is bringing and what the overall potential consequences of these charges are. Because whether they're charged with a first degree, second degree, third degree, fourth degree, disorderly persons, or petty disorderly persons offense, all carry different possible incarceration periods along with the different possible fines and penalties. All right. The next thing we do is we obviously build a defense. We review the state's case. What evidence do they have to be able to prove this case? And we build the defense. obviously for the possibility of having a trial, but if we build a good defense, it can help us use that leverage in negotiating any possible plea bargain. All right. We also discuss with the clients alternative sentencing programs. Alternative sentencing programs in New Jersey are the drug court program and pretrial intervention. A drug court program, if they're admitted, is going to be a highly supervised program, okay, where they're going to be monitored weekly through drug screenings, counseling, and whatever the court recommends. That could be intensive outpatient, it could be inpatient programs, but they're going to have to comply or else go back and get sentenced on the original charge that they pled guilty to. Now, at the end of drug court, we have the option of applying for an expungement of the entire record, even charges that existed prior to this case. So drug court is a great option for a lot of defendants. The next program will be pretrial intervention. The pretrial intervention program is almost like probation that lasts for a long time. And at the end of that, when I say long time, it could be 1 to 3 years. At the end of that probation, their charges are dismissed. So it's another great option. The problem is pretrial intervention is typically only available to first-time offenders. But for a young person, young adult, who's looking to make something out of their life once they deal with these issues, it is a great option. The end result here is that we need to do everything possible in order to make sure that this client addresses their substance abuse issue and we mitigate the consequences of the criminal charge against them. All right, and the end result really being that we want that client to walk out of our office in a better position than they walked in. Now, if you have any questions, you can call my office at any time at 973-812-0385. You could also like this video and comment on this video, and I'll try to address any questions in the comments as well. All right? Understand this isn't legal advice. I'm not your attorney. And picking an attorney is a very important decision, so you should speak to an attorney if you have any legal questions. All right? But if you have any of those questions, again, feel free to call me anytime. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.